So we are live. Hi everyone, welcome back to Codera. Today in this video we'll be starting with the LeetCode daily challenge for the month of February. This is day 1. So today problem of the day for LeetCode or LeetCode daily challenge is best time to buy and sell a stock. Previously this question has been asked in a lot of organizations, although now this question might seem a lot of easy, but someone who is starting with problem solving, so he or she might find this question to be useful. So consider giving me a +1 in the chat if my voice is audible to everyone and my screen is visible, and then I'll start with this particular problem, right? You can just let me know in the comments chat if my voice is audible to everyone, right? So this particular problem has been asked in a lot of organizations previously, like it has been asked in Google, it's also been asked in Uber and various other companies. So we'll be discussing this problem. I'll be giving one solution using normal arrays or maximum minimum greedy approach, basically normal greedy kind of approach, and second approach I'll be doing this problem using the dynamic programming approach, right? So I'll be explaining both of those approaches to all of you in brief. So just consider giving me a +1 in the chat if my voice is clear. Okay, hi Shreya, right? So this is the day 1 of February. Also I'll like to remind you that this is the first day of February, so we are starting with this LeetCode again, like, so I'll request all of you that what you should try to do is you should try to be consistent. Like in the next, by the end of this 28 days, we will be solving all the LeetCode challenges each and every day without any break, so that we can be consistent and we'll be learning a lot of new things, right? Because what happens is you will not be given any random question or things like that. The LeetCode team would be giving us some good questions, right? And it would be based on various topics, so it will help us to solve a lot of random problems, right? That would be asked in the interviews. So without wasting much time, I'll read out this problem for you. Before starting, also, if you haven't subscribed the channel, that is Codera, so you can consider to subscribe the channel, share it with your friends as well. Now, best time to buy and sell a stock, right? So you will be given prices, you will be given an array which will be consisting the prices of the price of the stock for the ith day, right? So you'll be given an array whose name would be price, and it would be consisting the stock price for the ith day, right? Now what you want is you want to find the maximum profit that you can have by choosing a single day to buy one stock and choosing a different day to sell the stock in future, right? So one day you want to choose these days you want to choose in such a way that one day you buy the stock and at any different day you are selling this particular stock in future, such that when you are selling this stock, so you are having the maximum profit possible, right? So is the question clear to everyone, right? Like if you cannot achieve any profit, then in that case you would be returning a 0, right? So this is the problem statement. Basically what this array is saying, what this question is saying is, you will be given an array, right? You will be given an array. Let's say you have been given an array named as P or something, right? Here it is written as prices. So you'll be given an array, and for the ith day you'll be given that what is the price of the stock on the ith day, right? So if let's suppose the price of the ith stock is ai, right, on the ith day, then what you need to do is you need to find a different day in the future, such that when you will be selling this stock, so your profit is maximum, right? You let's say you buy on this ith day, right, and let's say you are selling it on some jth day, something like that. So what you want is you want your a of j minus a of I, this difference, that is the difference between the cost price, right, the cost price of the stock for you at one particular day you'll buy it, and in the future you'll sell it. So if suppose you are buying it on the ith day, so that will be the cost of that particular thing, right? After that, if you are selling it on the jth day, then that is the selling price, right? That is the selling price. So the difference between the two would be what? Would be nothing but the profit that you are generating, right? The profit that you are generating, and your task is to maximize this profit, right? Is the question clear to everyone? Mahesh and Shreya, is the question clear to all of you? Let me know in the comments. I hope that the question is clear, right? Now let's take this example that has been given to us in the problem, right? Let me just scroll down a little bit. So let's say the example is 715364, right? So let's say the example is 7 let me write it again, 7 1 5 3, and I have 6 and 4. If I have given this particular array, let me just confirm, 7 1 5 3 6 4, 7 1 5 3 6 4, right? So if I have been given this particular array, right, if I have been given this particular array, then I want to find the maximum profit that I can make, right? I want to return what is the maximum profit that I can make, right? I'll be buying it on one particular day, one day at in any of these days I want to buy it, right? I want to buy it and then I want to sell it such that I gain my maximum profit, right? So if I buy it, let's say if I buy it here, like if I buy it here, if my cost is 5, let's say I buy it on this day, so if my cost is 5 and if I am selling it on this where when the price is 6, so if I am selling it at 6, so if my cost is 5, that is the buying price is 5, and if I'm selling it at 6, so what is the profit that I would get? I would get a profit of 1, right? This is the profit that I would get. Now suppose if I was buying it at the cost of 3, right? If I was buying it at the cost of 3 and if I was selling it at 4, then in that case how much profit I would have got? 4 minus 3 is equal to 1. Suppose if I was buying this as 3 and I was selling it at 6, right? So if I was selling it at 6 and buying it at 3, right, so I will get the profit 3. So there could be a lot of combinations, right? So what can you do for this particular problem? What do you think should be the approach? Can someone let me know in the comments, right? Shreya and others, Shreya and Mahesh, can you guys let me know what can we do for this particular problem? How can we approach this particular problem such that we can maximize our profit? That is the question that lies ahead of us, right? How can we maximize our profit, right? That's the question. So what I could do is, can I say that I'll get the maximum profit, right? To get the maximum profit, can I say that my cost should be minimum, right? Cost, price, the buying price should be minimum, right? The price at which I am buying it, right? The price at which I am buying it, right, shall be minimum, right? Shall be minimum, right? It should be as low as possible, right? I'll try to buy it at the cheapest price possible, right? And then I will sell it. I will sell it at a particular, let's say I'm selling it at a particular ith day. Hi Aryan. I will sell it at a particular ith day. When will I sell it? I'll sell it when my difference is the maximum, right? The difference between the minimum value and the current value is the maximum. What do I mean by that? Now what do I mean by that, right? So what I would be doing for this particular question is, I'll keep a track of the minimum, right? Initially I'll say that the minimum that I am buying at is infinity, right? Is int max. You can say infinity or you can say int max as well, right? Both would be the same. You can say int max, right? So a very big value. Initially we'll assume that the minimum is a very big value. Then what I would do is I'll say that, can I say that my profit would be what? If for a particular day I'm trying to sell it, let's say I'm trying to do something like this. Let's say I start from here, for I starts from 0, okay? I is lesser than n, that is the number of days that I have, and I do an I plus plus. What do I after that? What I do after that is, let's say I'm calculating the profit. So profit would be what? Profit would be nothing but if suppose I am selling it at the current day, right? If I am selling it on the current day, so what would be the profit? The profit would be nothing but if the selling price is profit price of I, right? If the selling price is, let's say, price of I or A of I, assume that the array is A. So if the price is A, if the price on the current day is A of I and that is my selling price minus the minimum value that I have seen up till now, the minimum price, the minimum stock price that I have seen up till now, right? What would be the profit for the ith day that I would get if I were to sell this particular stock on the ith day? Then what would be the profit? The profit would be nothing but the today's stock price that at which I'll be selling this, and the stock price, the minimum stock price, right? The minimum stock price that I have seen up till now, so that I can try to maximize my profit, right? My profit would maximize when my difference is maximum, right? I will always keep a track once I'm moving through the array. So I'll always keep a track of the minimum, right? Minimum is equal to minimum of minimum comma A of I. So I'll always keep a check on the minimum value, right? I'll always keep a check on the minimum value and I'll try to sell it on the ith day, right? I'll try to sell it on the ith day and subtract the selling price of the ith day with the minimum cost price that I might have seen up till now, right? The minimum stock price that I have seen up till now, so that I can get the profit. And then to keep a track of the profit, I'll initially mark my maximum profit as 0 and I'll say maximum is equal to nothing but maximum of mx comma profit, right? Because if I'm selling it on the ith day, so what I'm trying to do, I'm trying to sell it on the ith day. If this particular profit that I'm getting is maximum, in that case I'll try to update the maximum, otherwise I won't, right? Now what shall I do a dry run for this? Let's do a dry run for this particular thing, right? So initially what would happen is, initially what would happen is my profit would be what, let me write this for you, right? So initially what will happen is my profit would be nothing but 0, right? My profit would be what, 7 minus a very large max value, so it will be very negative, right? So on this day I will not be selling it, right? Now next up what would happen is, let's say after this what will happen, I'll initialize my minimum as 7, right? The minimum would be getting updated to 7, and if I were to sell it on this particular day, let's say I'm selling it on this particular day, right? When my selling price is 1, right? If the stock price is 1, then I'm selling it, so 1 minus 7 would give me minus 6. So I'll say that okay, maybe minus 6 could be my answer, so I'll mark mx as minus 6. I'll say that okay, my maximum profit that I could get is minus 6, although this is negative, so that's why you'll always keep a check, right? So that's why if it is negative, so it would always be 0, right? Because you are initializing your maximum to 0, right? So it will never get updated to minus 6. Then after this what will happen, I'll move to this particular index, right? When I move to this particular index, so what will happen, my minimum will get updated to 1, right? Minimum will get updated to 1 because up till now I've whatever minimum I have stored, I'll always be updating my minimum with each index, right? So I'll reach this particular index and my minimum is this, right? Minimum up till here. From here till here I have traversed, so what is the minimum value up till here? Minimum is 1, and the current ith values, current index is standing on this particular value. So if I sell this at a price of 5, and then I will sell it at the ith day. If I'm selling it at the ith day, so selling price is 5. Now what is the cost price that I want? I want the minimum cost price that I've seen up till now. So the minimum cost price is 1. So I'll say that okay, I'm getting a profit of 4. So I'll say that okay, instead of 0, the maximum profit that I could get is 4. Right, I could get is 4. Now will I update my minimum? No, I'll not update my minimum because minimum is 1, and now from here till here, from this index till this index, the minimum is still 1, right? So now I move to this particular index. Now I'll check what is the profit. So if I at the current day, if I will sell it, so its price is 3, its price, you can give me a +1 in the chat and also like the video if up till now explanation is clear, right? So if for the current day the price is 3, and up till now what is the minimum price that I have seen, minimum stock price for this particular stock, it is 1. So I'll say that okay, the profit will be 2. So I'll definitely not want to update it. Why will I not update it? Because the maximum is already 4. So profit, if I can have a profit of 4, so why will I have a profit of 2? Because 4 is better, right? Then what will happen, I'll update my minimum. So from this to this range, now my minimum will get updated, right? So my minimum is still 1. Why? Because from this range till this range, the minimum will not change. Why the minimum is not changing? Because you can see that minimum is still 1, right? From this first 4 elements, the minimum is 1, and I'll always want my cost price, the cost at which I'm buying the particular stock to be minimum. So it will be 1, and I would be at 6, right? So I do 6 minus 1. What do I get? I get 5. So I will check, is it better than the maximum profit that I have up till now? Yes, I have 4, so I can update it. So I'll write 5. Please give me a +1 in the chat if up till now things are clear to you guys, right? So I'll say that okay, now my maximum profit that I have got is 5, right? Now what I'll do is I have this 6, right? So I'll check minimum is equal to nothing but minimum of what? Minimum of 1,6. So the minimum would still remain 1. And now this much number of stocks I have seen, right? This much number of prices I have seen. Now my I index would move to this last, right? If my I moves to this 4, so what will happen with this 4? With this 4, if I sell it at a price of 4, so 4 minus 1 would give me 3, and is the profit 3 better than 5? No. So that's why in the end I'll simply return my maximum, right? Please give me a +1 in the chat if this much part is clear to everyone, right? So I'll simply return my maximum. So I'll show you the code part. So what I was doing is I have a maximum profit variable initially marked to 0, because if I will never write a negative profit, right? If I will not get any profit, then I'll try to be neutral. I'll try to be at the ground level, 0 level. I'll not take losses and then sell the stock, right? So I'll mark my minimum price as int maximum, right? What I'll do is I'll always keep a check on the minimum price with the current prices, right? For the ith day, I'll keep a check on the minimum price every time. And what I will do is I always need to find the maximum profit that I could get. So the maximum profit is equal to nothing but maximum of maximum profit, comma, if I'm selling it on the ith day, then the price is price of I, minus, if I'm selling it on the ith day, then the profit is nothing but price of I minus the minimum price that I have seen before. right, before. So that will be nothing but price of I minus the minimum price, and in the end I simply return the maximum profit, right? I hope that this approach was clear to everyone, right? Now there is a second approach as well for this particular question. Now you will say that okay, that was a little bit of greedy kind of approach or something like that, right? It was just a normal array approach. But what I want to say is you can also do this problem using the concept of dynamic programming, right? You can also solve this problem using the concept of dynamic programming, right? DP, right? So you can also do this question using the DP. So let's now check out how you will do it using DP, right? Now tell me one thing, right? Let's try and see, like let's think in terms of recursion, right? Let's think in terms of recursion, that what would actually happen, right? Let's say if I am at the ith day, right? So let's say if I am at the ith day, so either I could buy the stock or I could sell it, right? If I am at the ith day, then either I could buy the stock or sell it. What does it depend? I can do at most one transaction, right? At most one transaction. I can do at most one transaction, right? I can do at most one transaction. What does it mean? So I can sell it one time and I can buy it one time, right? This is something that I can do. Please give me a +1 in the chat if you agree with me, right? I can do at most one transaction. That is, I can buy it once at a particular day and I can sell it once at a particular day, right? I want the maximum profit, right? So I'll check for everything, right? What will I check? Initially I'll not be having the stock, right? So initially if I say that I am on the ith day, right? Let's say if I am at some ith day. So if I am at this ith day, assume that if I am at this ith day, right? If I am at on the assume, like, wait, I'm trying to give you a DP approach, right? We'll see how we are going in a recursive manner or DP approach, right? If for the ith day, there could be two things, right? From this particular ith day, there could be two things, right? If suppose I have already bought, right? If suppose that I have already bought, right? Already bought. If I have already bought the stock, then what I can do on this particular day? I can either sell it or not sell it, right? If on this particular ith day, if I am at this particular ith day, suppose I reach at this particular ith day, from the previous index I reach the current index, that is I. Now if I have already bought the stock, if I already have a stock with me, then I'll not be buying more stocks, right? If I have bought one stock, if that one stock I have already bought, so what will I do? I'll either sell it or I'll not sell it, right? Now assume that you reach this ith day and you have not bought, okay, you have not bought up till now. So if you have not bought it up till now, if you have not purchased the stock up till now, so what will you do? Either you can choose to buy. If you haven't bought up till the till today, so either you can buy it, right? Either you can buy it or you can choose to not buy it, right? Please give me a +1 in the chat if this much part is clear, because only then I'll be able to proceed further, right? Either I'll buy it or I'll not buy it, right? These could be the situations with me, right? Is this much part clear? Aryan is saying clear. What about others? Right? Either I could buy it or not buy it, right? What I'm saying is, suppose I reach a particular ith day. So if I have reached a particular ith day, so either I must have already bought it. If I have already bought, then in that case I can either sell it or I can choose to not sell it on the ith day, right? Either I can choose to sell it on this particular ith day or I can choose not to sell it. If I have already bought it on the ith, at the starting of the ith day, if I see that I have already bought it, so either I can choose to sell it and book some profit or I can choose to not sell it, right? Now another case could be that suppose that I have not bought it. If I have not bought it, so on the ith day either I can choose to buy it or I can choose to not buy it and move to the I plus 1th day, right? These are the things that are possible, right? Now notice one thing, right? You can see that there are a lot of choices for each of the ith day, right? And that depends on two parameters, that whether I have bought a stock or not, right? So if I have already bought a stock, right? If I have already bought a stock, so that means that would be nothing but minus a of I, right? If I have already bought a stock, right? So I would be having minus cost something if I've already bought it, right? If I've already bought it, then I must have paid some cost for it, right? Which would be currently considered negative for me because I have bought it, right? I haven't sold it. When I'll sell it, so I'll add the selling price to it. So it would be selling minus cost, right? So if I sell it on this particular day, then what will I do? I'll say that it's nothing but I'll sell it at the price AI, right? If I don't sell it, so I'll move to the I plus 1 at day, saying that I have bought it, and I'll go to the next day with this particular situation, right? So I'll have all these 4 situations on the next day as well, like where I'll be checking. Now if I have not bought it, so I can buy it. If I buy it, so that means I'll add minus a of I to my value, right? Minus a of I. Why? Because if I haven't bought it and if I buy it, then that means my profit would become minus a of I, right? If I'm buying it, if I'm selling it, so I'm adding a plus a of I. If I'm buying it on the ith day, then I'm subtracting minus a of I, right? And if I do not buy it, so I can simply move to the I plus 1th day, right? Please give me a plus, please write clear or a plus 1 in the chat if this part is clear, right? Either at the starting of the ith day, either I might have already bought the stock previously. If I have already bought the stock previously, so either I can sell it on this particular day, or I can choose to not sell it. If I sell it, so I'll add AI to my account, right? And if I don't choose to sell it, so I'll move to the I plus 1 at day, that is the next day. If I haven't bought it already, so that means that if I haven't bought it, so if I buy it, so I'll add a minus a of I to my account. And what will happen? I'll move, otherwise if I don't buy it on this particular day even, so I'll move to the I plus 1 at day, where my buy would be 0 or 1, right? So let me show you like how I've implemented the code actually for this particular problem. I'll be showing telling you also why memoization is also important. So what I've done is I'll be having a array, like what I've done is I'll be having a vector of prices, right? I'll be having a vector of prices, right? I'll be having a vector of prices. What does this prices mean? Vector of prices simply indicates me that what is the price of the stock on the ith day. What is I? I is nothing but the index. What is K? K is the number of transactions that I've done. I cannot do more than one transaction, right? If I have bought a stock, right? These are the situations. But let's suppose you reach this particular ith day, okay? Let's suppose that you reach this particular ith day, okay? If you reach this particular ith day, and if you have already bought and sold a stock, if you have bought a stock and also sold it, right? So in that case, your number of transactions you could do, only you could do one transaction, right? You can buy and sell one time, right? So if you have already bought and sold it and booked some maximum profit, in that case you will not want it to change, right? So you can do only one transaction. So if you have done that one transaction, in that case you cannot do anything on the ith day because you will not have any option, right? You have already sold it and bought it as well, right? So these two scenarios won't be there, right? So what I would do is like, if I'll check, like these are the situations when I'll check. So I'll pass the prices, I'll pass the index, and K will indicate K is equal to 1 means that still the transaction has to be completed, still the buying and the selling has to be completed. Bool buy means what? If I want to buy, if buy is equal to 1, right? If I buy is equal to 1, that means I need to buy, right? I need to buy. If the buy is equal to 1, that means I need to buy. If the buy is equal to 0, then what I'm saying is I do not need to buy, right? I have already bought. I'll say that I have already bought, right? Now what I'm doing is, in this particular function I'm trying to pass a function, right? So what I've done is I have passed the prices, I have passed I as 0, so I'm starting from the first index, right? And I've passed 1, so that means one transaction is something that I can do, and I have also passed something that is this 1. What is this one? So 1 is nothing but buy. So initially I have to buy, so I have marked my buy as 1. Now what would be the situations in this function? So if I reach the end of the array, right? If I is greater or equal to n, or if I have already completed the transaction, that is buying and selling, in that case I will simply return 0 from this particular function. Now this part I will be coming, this GP part I will be coming to it, right? But let me explain this part. If I have already bought it, look at this particular part. So if I have already bought it, right? If my buy is 1, so if I buy it on this particular day, if my buy is already 1, then I can either buy it on this particular day, right? If my buy is 1, so what? If my buy is 1, that means I need to buy. So either I can buy or not buy, right? This is something that I can do. If I buy, then I'll add minus price of I to my amount, right? I'll add minus price of I to my amount, and I'll add the next value, right? I'll move to the next index with this, right? I'll move to the next index, indicating that the transaction is still not complete. So K will be 1 still here, and buy would be 0 because next time I don't need to buy because I have bought already, right? Otherwise, what I could do is if I do not buy, then I could simply move to I plus 1th index with the buy as 1, indicating that I still need to buy, and the transaction still one transaction, that is one buying and selling, is still left, right? So if either I can buy or I can choose not to buy, right? In either of the cases, I want to find the maximum profit. That is why I'll try to find the maximum. That is, if I'm buying or if I'm selling, whatever I'm doing, I need to find what is the maximum thing that I'm getting from it. If suppose I have already bought, if I already have a stock, right? If I already have a stock, then either I can sell, I can choose to sell it or not sell it, right? I can either choose to sell it or not sell it. If I choose to sell it, then I'll be adding price of I to my amount. So I'll say price of I plus find of price of I plus 1 comma K minus 1, because the number of transaction would now become 0, right? The number of transactions will become 0 because I will be doing one buying and selling. I must have already bought it, so I must have paid a price of minus price of I. Now I am selling it, so I'll pay a price of I. So this plus price of I will get added to my amount, right? And I'll move to the next index, right? Otherwise, if I do not want to sell it, so I'll move to the next day, indicating that the transaction still needs to be done and the buy needs to be 0 because I'll not buy, I've already bought it, right? So this is how I'm doing it. And now there could be situations, right? Now it will depend, like either on the other day, either it could be the situation that you might have to buy, you might have to not buy. So that is why if you will do it like that, so this will create a lot of recursive functions, right? So it might happen that a lot of recursive functions might get repeated. What do I mean by that? So like if you see, like there are a lot of options, right? So if I were to just to tell you a little bit concept, so if you just think about this thing, Fibonacci kind of concept, right? If you say that you have 5, so from n, either you can go to n minus 1 or you could go to n minus 2, right? So if I go to n minus 1, so I would be 4. If I go to this thing, n minus 2, so I would be 3. From this n, either I can go to n minus 1, so if I go to n minus 1, I would get 3. If I go to n minus 2, so I'll go to 2. From here I go to n minus 1, so I'll go to 2. If from here I go to n minus 2, so it will be 1. So you can see that this particular state 3, right, this particular state 3, I might have already calculated it, right? This particular state 3 that I have, if I have already calculated this particular state, then I don't want to calculate it again, right? If I have already gone this much down to calculate this value, then I do not want to go down again and calculate this value, right? Because this will be having a subtree of its own, right? So that is why what I would be doing is, right, that is why what I would be doing is, this is a Fibonacci kind of structure. So that is why if I have a state that is I have already calculated, in that case I don't want to calculate it again, right? So this is why the concept of memoization comes in, right? This is the concept when we are applying DP, that if for the ith day either I could have this, like this, there could be a lot of scenarios, right? So what could happen on the ith day, either I could have bought it or I could have not bought it, right? So these scenarios could be a lot. So that's why I'll store it. So if I have I on the ith day, if I have already bought and I've seen what is the result, right? If in some particular left tree I've already seen it, so I'll not want to calculate it again on the right subtree. I'll not want to calculate I bought I on the ith day if I bought, so I don't want to calculate it in another subtree, so that my space complexity, my memory limit doesn't get exceeded, right? Please give me a +1 in the chat if this part is clear to everyone, right? So this was the problem that was asked. Now the DP approach is a little bit good. You can try to implement it yourself, like you can try to implement the code. If you find any difficulty, you can comment down below and I'll let you know. This is the start of February, so this is the February LeetCode challenge, right? So this is the day 1. I promise you that we'll be doing it for all the 28 days that we have for this February. Like I have been doing this LeetCode daily challenge streaming for the past 20 days. So you can consider that, you know that I'll be doing it for these 28 days. So I want all of you to be consistent with me and try to implement this particular question. It was asked in companies like Google. It was also asked in Amazon. It was asked in Microsoft. It was asked in Uber and a lot of other companies. So try to implement this particular question. If you find any difficulty, let me know in the chat and I'll be happy to clear your doubts. Now I am here for maybe 60 seconds more. If anyone wants to say anything, they can say. If you are clear with this example, so please write clear in the chat, right? If you are clear with the normal approach, the on the solution one, I have given the normal greedy approach, greedy kind of approach, that is finding a minimum cost price and then selling it at the particular 8 day when I find the maximum profit, right? So keeping a track of the maximum profit that I am making. Otherwise, I could also use a DP approach, right? Okay. Is it clear to everyone? Please write clear in the chat if this part is clear to everyone. If the problem is clear to everyone, you can just write clear in the chat, right? Okay, Mahesh, Shreya and others, you can just write clear in the chat if it's clear, right? So thanks a lot everyone for watching, and I'll see you soon in the next live. We'll be doing this February challenge for all the 28 days. So make sure that you have subscribed this channel. If you have some friends who are doing peer programming with you, right? So you can if you want to see the solution, so I'll be posting the solutions of every challenge that will be happening daily, so that that will help us to be consistent. Thanks a